preparing to stream live. Cool. So we are officially live on Facebook. Hi, folks. Thank you to those that will be tuning in seconds. My name is Nathan Hunter. I'm with the Bronx River Alliance. And per usual, I am joined by Journey Bimwala, who I'm going to hand the mic over to.
Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome again, and thank you for joining us. My name is Journey Bimwala. I am with Concrete Plant Park, friend group of Concrete Plant Park. I'm also co-chair of the Foodway at Concrete Plant. So yeah, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us.
And today we are with a special guest, my coworker and friend, Elaine Feliciano. She will be introducing one of her favorite plants that has been keeping her grounded through these times. So Elaine, I'm going to pass the mic over to you just to introduce yourself and tell us what plant you're going to be sharing with us today.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Journey. Hi, everyone. My name is Elaine Feliciano. I'm with the Bronx River Alliance. I am the conservation crew leader. I've been here since 2003. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about Phytolacca decandra, which is pokeberry. As we call it, pokeweed. I'll give you a little sense of what it looks like now. So this is how it looks now. Hope you can see it. It's really tall. Don't let this look discourage you from how it looks in the summertime. In the summertime, that stem that you see, the beige looking color, is usually like a nice fuchsia. People call it red, but I call it fuchsia. It grows about 8 to 12 feet tall and about 3 to 6 feet wide. Although it's a native perennial, we like to cut it down when we're planting because it kind of like takes over, and we like to give our new plants, you know, a chance to survive and get all the sunlight that it needs. So the stems are red. In the summertime, it grows white flowers. Those white flowers turn into beautiful berries, really shiny, really toxic. The most toxic part of that plant is the root. So just imagine, as the plant grows, the root is the most toxic, the stem is second, leaves third, berries fourth. So the berries are the least toxic in that plant, which is the part of the plant that I love the most. Other people love the leaf part of that plant. They like to make what you call a salad. Not a salad, because a salad has to be cooked. Now I'll tell you how to cook that. You have to rinse the leaf, and you have to boil it 3 times. After each boil, you have to get rid of the water, put new water, boil, get rid of the water, boil, and I'll tell you why. It's been known that there was a group of 21 scouts that died eating that plant, and they don't know it's because they didn't cook it the right way, or maybe the plant where they got it from, the area that they got the plant from was more toxic. Now, those seeds that you see, although we've had many snowstorms and rain, they're pretty hardy. If you have a garden and you see this pokeberry growing, you wonder, hey, I didn't plant this here. I'll tell you why. Animals and birds, they love to gorge on these berries. Although we can't, they can. And so they help in sowing the seed. These seeds are viable, which means they can last up to 40 years. Yeah. So if you see this growing in your garden after 40 years, that's why. Now, poke has been used for a lot of things in traditional Appalachian culture, as well as American Indian practices, for plant dye and like to paint their faces. They also use it to color their clothes. I wouldn't use it to color my clothes because the toxins in the berry can leach through your skin. And so if I was to use this dye, I would use it mostly for like staining wood. It's beautiful. If you want to stain the wood with it, you want to mix it with vinegar and leave it overnight and then stain the wood. Now I'll tell you, there was people who said that the Declaration of Independence was written with this ink. We're going to stop spreading that rumor. It's truly a lie. Although it's interesting, it's a lie. Um, I did say that this plant is toxic, but there is a man who says he eats one berry a day and that it helps him with arthritis. There's also clinical studies of people who are trying to see if it can heal HIV, AIDS, cancer, which is truly interesting. So, I mean, you asked why I chose this plant. It's truly fascinating. Um, if you come in contact with this plant, don't be alarmed. You're gonna get like a tint on your skin. If you remember back in the day, pistachio used to have like a fuchsia kind of color. Now it's beige. Well, I used to paint my lips with that, not anymore. If you come in contact with this, just wash your hands with soap and water. Avoid scratching the area where you see the ink because it can lead to like a secondary infection. But don't be alarmed, just apply some calamine lotion. Back to cooking with it. There's people who make burgers out of it. So what they do is, like I said, they rinse the leaf and then they mix it with egg and a little bit of flour and they make burgers out of it. There's people who use it for like spinach. Now, while I felt personal about this plant, and I'll tell you why. My mom in Puerto Rico, she used to paint her nails with this plant that she called La Mata de Pito. It's from Puerto Rico. She said that she used to pick the flower out of it. She used to blow it. When she blew it, it would open up into like a balloon, and she would get this ink out of the inside, and she would paint her nails with it. Back in Puerto Rico, they didn't have nail polish, and so that truly brings me like a connection to my mom when I'm using this. I'm trying to figure out how to make it into a lipstick, and so I tried mixing it with like shea butter. I tried mixing it with coconut oil, and it's just not happening. So I got some beeswax. As soon as the berries grow again this season, I'm gonna try to mix it with some beeswax. I'm gonna try to make a little natural lipstick out of it. So I'll let you know how it goes, everyone.
Elaine, this is like above and beyond. I'm like, wow, I just learned so much information about the pokeweed that I was unaware of. You know, my memories of pokeweed are really just around, you know, smashing the berries in my fingers and like painting walls as I like walk down the street as a kid. But I really appreciate, you know, what you've said about even just like most recent in the conversation, your relationship with your mom and cosmetics even, and how that kind of that connection you have with her and how it all comes back down to these like natural plants that we made associations or connections with over time. So really appreciate that. I also just want to acknowledge that on the screen, we have the written name of the pokeweed that you named earlier, Phytolacca americana. And it says here it's part of the aster. That is a lie. It's part of the Phytolaccaceae family, which is actually its own family. So pokeweed is its own family. So when we say this is incorrect, it's not part of the aster. It's part of the pokeweed family or the poke family.
You know, it's really important that you bring that up because when you go to any botanist or a nursery and you ask for a plant, you want to know it by the Latin name because the Latin name is a universal name, which is what everyone usually knows. So yes, you could call it pokeberry, you could call it pokeweed, but it's good to learn the universal name.
Exactly. I just made a quick edit to the PowerPoint. I'm about to throw it back up on the screen so people can actually read it and see it together. So let me just do that real fast. So I know, so one of the things that you also named is the edibility of this plant. And Journey, I'm wondering if you wanted to kind of share if you've had any personal experiences with pokeweed. I know you're an active forager, and really demystifying, which Elaine, you did such a great job at naming like the fact this is known as a toxic plant, and we kind of all, I mean, I know a lot of people who go around and acknowledge that it's a toxic plant and you know, tell people not to touch it, like leave it alone, like it's dangerous, like And I often think about plants as being misunderstood, just like humans. And so I appreciate this conversation and that we're taking time to think about like, yo, is it toxic? Maybe it is toxic, but maybe there's other ways that we can relate to the plant or connect with it, right? I often think about these metaphors between humanity and plants, right? Like we have toxic sides to ourselves. Some people call it the shadow self, the part of us that we need to work on to become a better person. And sometimes, that's misinterpreted, right? Like that we're actually bad people or that we're, being mean when in reaction, maybe we're being reactionary and maybe that's why we're viewed that way. And, I think about that with the pokeweed. So
Say that I've been using this for lipstick every summer for like the past 15 years. I mean, I won't say that I'm putting it on all day, but if I'm in the field and I want to feel a little pretty because I got on some dirty boots and I'm cutting some trees, then I'll grab a berry and I'll put it on my lips and I keep it moving and I'm still here.
Yeah, no, it is it is so true. Like for me, when it comes to plant and them being toxic plants, just like you mentioned, Nathan, it's just like with people, right? We all have our dark side, right? Some of us are more connected to it than others, right? So there's just various degree. And for me, pokeweed I think, is one of those misunderstood plant. And it's misunderstood for a reason because its toxicity is not properly understood. And it's just one of those plants, like you really just have to know it and know how to work with it. Just like you can't be friends with everybody, right? You can't take on everybody's energy. Some people's energy is just too strong for you, right? So you can only be around that person just a little bit at a time throughout the year, not too much, girls, you'll burn out. So pokeweed, it's like that. When I first came in contact with this plant, that's when I was looking for elderberries. Okay, I was looking for elderberries and I thought I found some elderberries, just that purple, the beautiful colors you're seeing. So I was like, elderberry. And I collected so many of them. Give it a come home and just have me some elderberry. But then I did another double check and it was like, and then just comparison, because what you want to do, you want to really look, do they really look the same, right? The colors might be similar, but are they the same? And I was like, okay, this is not elderberry, it's pokeweed, right? Pokeberry. So I left it alone because when I first learned about it, it was just like, oh, it's toxic, it could kill you. There's all of these warnings. So immediately I dropped all of the berries, I didn't mess with it. But because I'm an herbalist and I learned more about plants and their use in terms of healing the body and how it's been used throughout the year, it is toxic, yes, but you can use it. And like you've mentioned, some people have the poke salad, right? They eat the leaves, but it's not throughout the year. It's not throughout the season of the plant, right? And you have to get those particular leaves at an earlier stage, right? Now when it's full blown and the berries are out and the flowers are out, that's not the right time. So you have to know when to actually even get the leaves to make the poke salad. Then there's the berries. Now with the berries, just like with elderberries, where you will get the poison, what's poisonous, what's alarming is within the seed. So the liquid itself, right, the juice of the berry itself, it's not what's going to cause you harm. It will be what's inside the seeds. So there's a lot of people that use it for arthritis and other ailments. There's a really big community throughout the world that use pokeberries to, they do eat it, but what they do is they don't crack the seed. They don't crack the seed. They might just freeze it and take 1 or 2 or 3 berries and swallow that and then let their digestive system, take what's needed, because the digestive system is not going to break down the seed. The seed is going to pass through, just like with the birds and everything else, right? And it's going to pass out. So we have a community of people that uses the berry in that way. And then there's the root. The root is where there is a really high concentration of its healing powers and also its toxicity. But when it comes to plants that are toxic or even poisonous, dosage is everything. That's where the lining coming is, the dosage. And that's just with anything. Think about when you go to the drugstore, right? Every single medication in there have toxicity in there. It has toxin. It have the ability, if you take too much, it can kill you. So with pokeweed, if you take too much of any of its part, it has the ability to cause you harm. But you as the person, you have to know what you're dealing with. If you don't know the plant and you're not sure of it, the best thing is to not do anything with it, right? Because you don't know of all of the various parts of it. I actually use the root. I forage the root and I make tincture out of the root. It has an amazing antibiotic properties in the root, but because this plant is so powerful and you have to respect its power, when you use it, it's literally just, maybe sometimes you might just need a drop, not a teaspoon, not half a teaspoon. Something as simple as just a drop will be all that you need for it to help you with the condition that you have. But you really have to work with someone who knows the plant and really know how to do it. But other than that, I will just say, you can touch it, right? Touching is not going to cause you any harm. Just don't ingest it because you're not well aware of all of its sides. So that's what I'll say when it comes to plants that are deemed toxic, right? That's fine. They're toxic. You can still admire them. You can still learn more about them, but you want to respect them by just admiring them from afar. You can touch it if you like, but then you just stop there because you don't want to, that's not a plant you want to take a risk, right? And just, okay, let me just see what it can do, because some people can eat it. Some people do that. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you know and understand all parts of it. But it's I love this plant. I love this plant because of its immense power, right, and ability, to the point where it's like you just you that's a plant that teaches you how to treat it. You just can't come at it in your ways like, no. So,
that says 12 of these berries can kill an adult. So yeah, gotta be very careful with this.
Yep, you do. But yeah, that's the really big with this is you, like with the ink, you can use it to draw, you can use it to paint, you can do so many different things with it, but that's about it. I would never advise anybody, even knowing what I know, to just arbitrarily just go and ingest any part of this plant. You need to work with someone that has worked with it and know how to use it, to really get the full advantage of it. But it's a beautiful plant. I must say, it's a really, really beautiful plant visually, because some plants, you can get the healing of it just by looking at it, just looking at it and admiring all of this different thing that it's giving you throughout the season, especially the one that you just showed us just now, the big old, right? There's absolutely nothing on there at all, but you can see the different shapes. You can see the dry berries, the seed that's still hanging on, right? Yeah, look at that. It goes from being like this, and then it's gonna come right back up.
The colors that come out of this plant.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even think by looking at this right now.
Yeah, it's a hard one to recognize if you haven't seen it in all of its stages, but it's highly invasive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I really appreciate what's being said. And when you mentioned Journey, just like how it's really beautiful, I'm thinking from a horticultural lens or from like a cultivated lens right now. There's so many, like right now, nature people or horticulturists are fascinated with pokeberry because it is a native plant. It's a pollinating plant, and like it has a lot of services that it offers the environment. And now we're starting to see variegated varieties of pokeweed that are being cultivated. We're starting to see it being planted like in really incredible displays. Like it is becoming the centerpiece, something that used to be discarded or just like deemed to be evil or toxic, right? Like pushed off to the side is now being put into like the center and highlighted, which is really beautiful to think about.
I like that. I like that it is being pointed as that, because as much as we need to teach people, to be cautious around plants that have toxin, but we also need to highlight our toxin plants so that that's not all that they are. You know what I mean? It's like you're not just that. That is a part of you, but that is not all of you. So it's like, how do I enjoy this plant? How do I still connect with it? Like how you was able to connect with it, even knowing though it's toxic, right? But how can I still appreciate it and not see it and be like, oh my God, I want to just destroy it because I'm scared,
Mhm.
Also, shout out Elaine. Elaine does like really hard, which is like hard work that is typically coded as masculine work. And I would just say that like the imagery of you describing, like I picture you with your chainsaw cutting through trees out in the forest, like clearing blockages, and then finding a pokeberry and just like gently like putting on your your lipstick. I
It does the
appreciate
job. It definitely does the job.
But you
that. Is
see, I love that too. Thank you for bringing that up, because it's like it's around and I'm dealing with the plan, but I have this. You have that moment when you need it to feel alive, to feel beautiful, and it was right there to give you what exactly you was looking for and wanted at that moment, right
Exactly.
within where you're working. So that's really really beautiful.
Yes.
All right. Well, this has been a really rich conversation. And Elaine, I just really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to hop on camera and be with us in this moment of acknowledging our elders. I
This was
wonder,
great. Thank you for inviting me. Journey, thank you too.
Thank you. Especially because when I heard about this plan, I was like, yes, someone is gonna do Pokeweed.
I've been dying to talk about this plant. I talk about this plant all the time to my kids. And yeah, this was really great. Thank you for letting me share.
our pleasure, our pleasure. And folks can connect with Elaine through the Bronx River Alliance. Any of these planting events that happen at the Alliance or any of these work days, you'll often see Elaine and the crew who will be leading the team. So thanks for all you do.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Awesome. Well, thanks y'all for joining us on this week's Acknowledging Our Elders. We'll come back together, same time, same place next week. And our guest is a mystery. So stay tuned to our outreach over the next week to discover who will be our guest next Thursday. But thank you so much for joining us, Elaine, Journey, and we'll see y'all next week.